In the western Algarve region of southern Portugal, a growing community of land stewards is coming together to support each other and increase the scale and effectiveness of ecosystem restoration efforts. The goal of this collaboration is to improve soil quality, water availability, biodiversity, and local livelihoods in the bioregion. This series highlights the people, places, and actions restoring the ecological, social, and economic health of our ecosystem. Join us on a journey through this place we call home and discover the regeneration stories unfolding here.
I think it was even by the end of the 70s that the two brothers bought the land. And before there was a year, I would say, of research. While I was in Germany already still with our daughters, small daughters. And he was looking around here, and then he invited me to show me one time Vinha Velha, but actually he had already decided to buy it. I couldn't believe it. I said, what? Even to come here, it seemed to me like end of the world. It was end of the world that time. And it was only wild land. And in our relationship, he was the visionary. So I could see that he saw in his inner vision a place like we see now today. It is amazing. But at that time I was really only in a way scared, and I said, I don't know if I can move here with 3 small kids. But as you see, I did it. So I kept the things more or less together with the kids and the structure of the day, while Hubert was very dedicated to build up the farm. He was supposed to keep on going many, many years. He said, I will collect here stones until my 90th birthday. So there was not even a discussion about what will happen to the farm one day. But then this one day came very suddenly. The question was, who continue here with the farm, who takes the responsibility? And in a very natural way, the daughters took over, all 3 of them, each of them with own contribution. That was an emergency in our family, which showed the very strong connection we all have, not between us only, but also to the land. Because Delia, she was gardener, she finished a gardener training actually, had finished in Germany, so she stayed here. She kept on with the farm running. Clara also trying to organize things. Bit by bit, there was this pass over to the next generation.
Vinha Velha started when Margit and Hubert came. They wanted to integrate people, especially Margit, since her big desire was to create a Waldorf school. She needed teachers, she needed school buildings, and so it started that the housing infrastructure grew. At the moment there is 25 people living constantly here, so it's around 5-6 families that are here constantly. We have tourist accommodation, 5 apartments and 2 tiny houses, so in summer it also can be a bit more crowded. We have like a bit of this village feeling. Our daily routines on the farm, they start of course with the animals that are most dependent on us humans. So the first thing in the morning is the chickens need to go out. They are waiting already since 6 o'clock that we open the doors. Every 2 weeks we change the trailers, that they have new pasture to eat and that they don't over-fertilize the grounds. The next thing is the sheep that we bring out on the pastures. It's mainly doing volunteers, either the chickens and the sheep. It's actually part of our volunteer program. And then of course the cows, which is the base of the farm. They are being milked in the morning, sometimes in the evening when the milk cycle starts. And then they go out onto the pastures. When the animals are done, the garden starts. It's usually the harvests to be done in the morning, to settle it up in the farm store for the clients coming. A big part is also weeding. Weeding is a big job to be done. This is basically our farm routines. In summer, of course, we have huge harvests, because in the end of August, the seed productions are at the time to be harvested. And we have a cooperation with a seed company in the north of Portugal, Sementes Vivas, that sell open pollinating seeds. We created this cycle that we grow pastures for the animals that deliver us the manures that we can give back to the soil to improve soil life and fertility. 2 times a year we try to set up a compost pile as we have it down there. We collect all the manures that we have from our animals and bring a little bit of horse manure of a friend. Add some shredded organic goods and let it cure for 3-4 months. This is actually the essence, improving the soil, bringing soil life to create fertility. The sheep, they are not only our fire protectors and lawn cutters, they also once a year we cut the fur, and we just discovered its properties in terms of water retention. It's like it has a sponge effect. If you incorporate it in the soil, it's a slowly decomposing nitrogen, which is actually a very good fertilizer because it's getting slowly into it. So we use it now more and more to mulch our beds, to give a good start for the plants.
So we have pomegranate, we alternate. Pomegranate and the Diespiro will be a high tree. Wow, amazing. The ecosystem is a great reflection of how we as humans can live as well. And of course in connection with the ecosystem. So here you see actually, this is a line that is, the main function is a windbreak, because there's a lot of wind coming from the northwest. So what we try to do here is build some structures, natural structures with these trees, with these different strata that will break the wind, or that will lift the wind even over it. So the plants that we plant here in the garden will be less exposed. And what we do here, we have certain trees that grow really tall, but then in between we have trees that grow only to a certain height. And even there we try to aim for support, no? We think about it, of course, which one will occupy certain spaces, but everything is to align with this principle of regeneration, of life flowing through the system.
We have a special situation here since we are not too connected to the public water system. Water has ever since been an issue. When Hubert started the farm already in the mid-80s, he started to dig the big lake, which contains 30,000 cubic meters, a lot of water. But this one was as empty that the kids, my kids 9 and 10 years old, they could walk through and the water would reach till the belly. This is the most recent dam that we, I say, had to build, because we just overcame this year nearly 6 years ongoing drought in these regions. It was always a big issue to maintain and retain water on the land, not only in big dams, to create life in areas where before it was not possible.
And this sound also, it's so peaceful. As we have a lot of scarcity, it's really important to manage water well and to let it infiltrate into deeper layers of the soil, because otherwise we lose it. This is a cornerstone of rebuilding the ecosystem. This is the overflow of our big lake. So one of the things that we do is with very simple structures, create little dams, very simple ones, with a few big rocks to anchor and then a bunch of other rocks to put them in between. And then you see the effect. At the same time, you see also sediments are being trapped here. So all kinds of leaves or any kind of topsoil that is flowing down from there will stay here. And this is the fertility of the soil. This is already a little bit more advanced, of course, but you can do it even more simply with just some stones, laying them in one line in the lowest point of a flow of water, like here.
When Hubert started 30 years ago planting these big areas of trees, he did it because it was a time when there was subsidies for it. So he was regulated in the species he could use. So it's areas mainly of the same type, but immediately he started to introducing different species and native types of trees. He planted around 80,000 trees on more than 70 hectares at that time, but year by year adding more, which is then not reaching that quantity, but it is creating a quality, because introducing different species enriches the area completely, because you have environments for animals then that spread that seeds and they multiply what human beings can plant.
So you see the initial pine that was planted here, I would say about 30, 35 years ago. And this was the base structure, right? But now you see what happens when you let the ecosystem evolve naturally. For example, we see over there, we see a cork oak. Here we see Pistacia lentiscus. Here we see a wild olive, a medronho. These are all native species that were brought here by the birds. And I think what we are aiming, or at least what I am really aiming to do here, is to reconnect with these bigger cycles. Hubert, who is laying opposite us, I sit here sometimes and I look at him, he's buried there, what he also wanted, I feel. And I never met him, but he was very similar to my father, what I heard from the stories. He died just before I came here. But I do feel him. I feel him in the vision, I feel him in the forest, and I feel him in some ways still being present and his vision continuing and being part of something bigger. So it's not just about Hubert and his vision, no, it's what it does and how the ripple effects are now continuing and everybody finding their own part in that. So yeah, that's what for me Vinha Velha is about.
I think the original vision is even more relevant nowadays than it was before in my view. So this term of Alkenoa, where people live together, several generations live together, you have place for animals, you have your own food supply. That is something, it has an enormous value nowadays. So I hope in future that this can be even more developed, that the Alkenoa continues very rich and alive and comes together with a pedagogical part. Because what you can see and learn, experience here, that is also something, it has enormous value because it's hardly to find.